Should you be friends with your ex? That is the question. And I think you can be, but only on these conditions. And hello, everyone. Welcome back to another day of digital journaling. And for the last one, I got my camera, I got my mic and everything. I was going to make it super cool, but now I'm just back to filming on the phone because it was too much work. And I want to just use this as an actual journal and just unfilteredly speak to the camera about things that are going on and make it really just authentic and not cut things out. So that's what I've transitioned back to. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get into today's video. And it's an interesting one because something happened recently. That's kind of crazy. But here's a little relationship history. I've been in one relationship my entire life. I mean, I'm 21, but I've been in one relationship, and it began at the end of 2022 and ended in February 2023. Then afterwards, we didn't talk for a bit, and then we started talking again. And then we stopped talking for a while. And then last semester, we had a class together, so we started talking again. And that's when I wanted to try and be friends with her again. But I wanted to be friends with her with this underlying motivation of trying to get back with her, trying to win her back. That's why I wanted to be friends with her. And now, I haven't seen her for months until yesterday. And I said hi to her and she said hi back. And now I'm thinking I want to be friends with her, but not to try and win her back. It's to actually just be friends with her. And I'll explain the change that kind of went on in my mind and what happened for me to get to that point, to where I'm pretty much over my ex. And I'm okay with us being friends because of these certain things that I will talk about in just a second. Something that's really weird that happened was we became strangers. There were times when we would just ignore each other in the halls and just act like we were never part of each other's lives in the first place. And that was really painful for me. That was very difficult. I've never had to do anything like that before, and it sucked. Yeah. And I didn't know what to call this because yes, she was someone so special to me, and now she's nothing? To me, that just doesn't make sense. And a term that I recently learned is karmic soulmate. And I believe she's also my first love as well. I believe she is my karmic soulmate. And what that means is there's someone that you're not meant to be with in the end, to get married with, have kids with, and then live to get forever. There's different types of soulmates. This one was supposed to be put in my path to help me learn a lot about myself and grow as a person. And that's exactly what she helped me do. And because of her, I got into self-improvement, started my own business, got into content creation, improved my physique, my health, all these sort of things. I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for her. And I'm extremely grateful for her being put in my life, even if it caused me a lot of pain because we broke up. But she is still someone who's extremely special to me because of the gift of kind of improvement to myself that she has given me. Because without her, I would have just kept living my unfulfilling life and meaningless life, honestly, not making an impact on anyone, doing bad habits, not self-aware of how much I was lacking, right? The first things that I developed when we broke up was emotional intelligence, communication, and overcoming my social anxiety, things like those. Now, if we had never broken up, or if I had never had this connection with her, I would not have developed these skills to the extent in which they are now. And that to me is terrifying, because now that I'm self-aware of these things, it's like, wow, back then I was really an idiot, could not articulate myself, and I couldn't even order my own food. That's crazy. So because of her, I have grown a lot as a person, and that is why I call her my karmic soulmate. And I believe that is a very good description of her. And moving into being friends with your ex, a lot of people get wrong is they think that they're always trying to get back with one another, right? Because you've shared so many intimate parts of your life that you have to completely cut them out of your life. You can't even acknowledge each other anymore. That's what I think a lot of people get wrong. That's how we went about it first, because it was just easier. However, if you can come to the understanding together of how you want to approach the friendship, then you can be friends with your ex. That is one of the first steps that you can take to doing so. And you need to understand that you guys are just going to be friends. You're not doing it, even if there's an inkling of you or slight percentage of you that wants to or considering getting back with her or him in the future, it's not going to work. Okay? I was just thinking about it. Yeah, that was a big sigh. But you need to have the same vision for your friendship, how it's going to look, how you guys are going to interact with each other, what boundaries you guys are going to have, and also emotional maturity. This is one of the biggest things. Being emotionally mature enough to where you see this other person, your ex, talking to another guy or having guy friends, you won't get jealous. Okay? That's a huge thing. You won't get jealous. You'll be happy for them for getting in a new relationship. You're not stuck on them. You can't be friends with her and also be territorial of her, right? It just doesn't work that way, because I tried to do that and she tried to do that with me as well. So it was a little bit of both. So I experienced both sides of it, and it just doesn't work. Okay? So the main things are, if you guys are on the same page, then you can be friends. What I would do is sit down with him or her and really talk about what this friendship is going to look like. What does it mean? How often you guys talk, text? You don't have to go into autistic detail about it, but just have a really good understanding. So one side isn't overthinking, another side isn't thinking about the same thing in a completely different way. Miscommunication, misunderstanding are what really break these connections. And if you really value it, this friendship that you can have, because honestly, if you got along well in the relationship, then you could be, you could have a really good best friend for life, which is very valuable, right? And if you really value that connection, then really take the time to understand how you guys are going to interact, okay? So there's no miscommunication or anything like that, because that's something I really wish I did with her, with my ex, but I wasn't mature enough to have this conversation. I was too scared, honestly. I knew I could have sat her down and talked about it, but I was scared. Okay. Yes, but that's on those two main conditions. Having the same shared vision of how you guys are going to interact and having strong emotional maturity on these two conditions, then I think you guys can be friends with your ex. And that is just my opinion. You can take this with a grain of salt. I know everyone's situations are different. The way you end your relationship is going to be different. Some life experiences that you have, your perspectives on love and relationships in general are just going to be different. So You don't have to agree with me. This is just my perspective on it and based on how my relationship went with my ex. And these are the two conditions that I think, if met, you guys can have a really, really good friendship. And if you disagree, feel free to let me know down below. I would love to hear other perspectives as well. Or if I just missed anything. Yeah, okay. Bye, guys.